Creating new calendars and managing your settings and notifications is very important. And here's why. You should have separate calendars for separate tasks. For instance, let's say you wanted to create a calendar just for your eighth graders or your eighth grade social studies class, or for you're a coach and you want to create a calendar for your soccer team. So to create a new calendar, there's more than one way to do it. As usual with Google, you can press this, add a new calendar, or you can go up to settings and add the new calendar here. So we're going to say add calendar. Okay, now this is what pops up. Let's give it a title. Let's say varsity baseball. Give a description of the calendar, time zone, the owner, create calendar. Now, once you create the calendar, it will pop up on your My Calendars list on your main page. Okay, it pops up here, of course, and here. So let's start with this. On this menu, if you simply tap this button, it removes the visibility. It takes the events off of the calendar. Let me show you what I mean. Let's make a calendar. Sample baseball. Make an event. I apologize. We're going to click the calendar here. I don't want this on my main calendar. I want this on my varsity baseball calendar. I'm going to press save. Okay, so now I have this event showing on my calendar. If I don't want the events to show for a particular calendar, I click that button. The calendar's still there, but the events won't show because maybe I don't want it to be cluttered. If I click it, it appears again. If I click this button, I unsubscribe from this calendar, or I can hide it from the list. So if you hide it from the list, you may ask, where did it go? Go to settings, and most of our time is going to be spent in settings. All of your calendars are listed right here. Right now, I'm hiding it from the list. Now, if I just changed it right there, it'll go back to the list. What if I unsubscribed from it? What does that mean? It means exactly what this says. You'll no longer have access to the calendar. Other people with access can continue to use it. Remove calendar. Okay? If I go to my settings, I go down to calendars, it's not there anymore. Okay? But unsubscribing from a calendar is not good enough if you want to completely delete it. If you gave someone else access to the calendar, that calendar will still be live somewhere else and someone else will have access to it. So let's create another calendar and I'll show you how to delete the calendar. Varsity Baseball 2. Okay, create calendar. And once it appears, okay, let's say we want to delete this calendar. Now, you can only delete the calendar if you're the creator of it. To delete the calendar, you go to Settings, click the calendar, all of your options for the calendar, which we're going to go over right now or right here. But at the end, there's a difference between unsubscribing and deleting. Unsubscribe says, by unsubscribing, you will no longer have access to the calendar. Deleting the calendar, it will be permanently erased. Nobody will be able to use it anymore. That's different. Okay, let's go back up to our main calendar page one last time. I'm going to create another sample event. Sample baseball. So we have one event on this calendar. And if you notice, I'm going to edit it because I put it underneath the wrong calendar name. I want it under Varsity Baseball. Press save. And there it is. Now let's go over all of your calendar options. And by the way, it's grayed out because the date has passed. Go to settings, choose the calendar you want. Let's go through all of the options. You can edit the name and the description and the time zone here. Auto accept invitations, automatically add all invitations to this calendar, or only auto accept invitations that do not conflict or do not show invitations. Okay. Access permissions. I went over this in a separate tutorial about sharing and permissions. Please watch that tutorial. It's very important. Okay. But let's go through event notifications. We've not done this yet. So this means that every time there's an event on this calendar, you can add a notification. 10 minutes before the event, 10 hours before the event. You can get an email instead of a notification or an SMS. The notification is probably the best thing because if you have the Google Calendar app on your phone, it pops up like a text message, and it'll also pop up on your computer if you're on your computer. SMS is only available to G Suite for Education or G Suite for Business people. It's not available for regular Gmail. So leave it on notification. Now, again, this will give you a notification every time there's an event on your calendar. That's very different from adding specific notifications to specific events. Okay, you can add as many or as little notifications every time you add an event to a calendar. But right now we're editing the entire calendar. So this, I'm not going to leave it, well, I will leave it on. This means anytime there's an event added to this calendar, you will get a notification before it starts. All day event notifications. You're basically adding a notification and then choosing when. If you want the notification to be one day at 9 a.m. the day before, or at 2 p.m. the day before, and so on and so forth. I'll X out of that. And these are just some general notifications. Do you want a notification every time someone sends you an invitation? Every time someone changes an event, cancels an event? A lot of these are great if it's not your calendar. You may be subscribed to the school district's calendar, or who knows, your coworker's calendar. You can go in and add these notifications for yourself. So every time something changes, you're notified. And lastly, integrating the calendar. I went over this in the sharing tutorial, but you can copy and paste HTML to embed the calendar into a website. So these are the titles of the different things we just went over besides the sharing. And these are your calendars. I hope that covers everything.